Hello, guys. My name is Nicholas Earl, and welcome back to another episode of Talking Baseball with the Earl Brothers. And today, I saw on ESPN there was an article posted that they, with a new rankings for the top 30 for the farm systems. This is the overall farm systems, the team rankings, not just the player rankings. And we have 30 to 1 we'll talk about here in this video. It's definitely some moving around. So let's get into it here. And we're going to start with number 30 here. Let me get up the article here on ESPN. And to nobody's surprise, the number 30 ranked farm system in baseball is San Diego Padres, who have basically traded away all of their top prospects, other than Ethan Salas and now Cruz Schoolcraft, their first-round draft pick, a prep lefty from the first round this year, is in the top 100. He's 99th overall. Ethan Salas has fallen all the way to 85th overall. So they have two fringe top 100 prospects, but I mean, you look at what they've done. The obviously says you probably see this coming after the Padres dealt away 20 prospects over the past two deadlines and 7 more in spring of 2024 to acquire Luis Arias and Dylan Cease. One of those is Jacob Marcy, who's absolutely tearing it up for the Miami Marlins, and it was him and 3 other guys for Luis Arias, who is one of the more overrated players in baseball. Well, we won't get into that. The Padres are now the worst farm system in baseball, which should be a surprise to literally nobody. They have 2 guys that you can make the arguments aren't top 100 prospects. And basically any type of system depth that they had is gone from the trade deadline as well. We'll move on to number 29, the Houston Astros, who have been primarily a pretty low team over the last couple of years. And they have 1 top 100 prospect at the moment, and that is Bryce Matthews, who I believe has made his debut with the team. Yes, he has. He has played a total of 11 games, 35 at-bats, a 143, 211, 400 for a 611 OPS. Not too much of a sample size for Matthews so far, but the Astros, another low team here. They did move up 1, but really that's just because the Padres went down. Number 28, the LA Angels, really to nobody's surprise here. Another team that primarily, they don't give their prospects much time to develop as prospects. A lot of their top guys graduate really quick because they call them up really quick. Christian Moore is the 50th ranked prospect in baseball. That's their best prospect at the moment, who is already in Anaheim. A 186, 288, 314 slash line for a 602 OPS in 35 games, only 102 at-bats, striking out 37 times in those 102 at-bats. He's kind of struggled to adjust to Major League Baseball. And then they have 2 fringe top 100 prospects with the 94th ranked prospect in baseball, Tyler Bremner, who is their first-round draft pick, 2nd overall, a big underslot pick there for them. In the 2nd overall pick, and then Ryan Johnson, who was, I believe, a draft pick for them last year, who got the call all the way up to Anaheim as a reliever, got demolished, and now he's back down to low A or high A with the Tri-City Dust Devils. So they've done a really poor job with their farm system. No surprise that they are a bottom 3 farm system in baseball. The Royals, 11th in baseball, and that's just because they've had some graduations as of late. Noah Cameron, Jack Caglione, John Rave, Ryan Burgett, Jonathan Bolin, and Steven Cruz, who are all either graduated or probably will be graduating soon. Right now, their top 2 prospects, and they have 2 top 100 prospects, 49th overall and 70th overall, and they're two catching prospects. Carter Jensen, who is in AAA at the moment, and then they also have he's the 70th prospect, and Blake Mitchell, who's the 49th prospect, currently in high A right now. He's still got a little ways to go at 21 years old, who was the first-round pick out of in 2023, 8th overall for the Royals. They also have some draft picks: Josh Hammond, Sean Gamble, and Michael Lombardi, who are their top picks. Really serve as organizational depth at the moment. You might be able to see Josh Heyman potentially as a top 100 prospect in maybe a year or so. But we'll move on to the next one here. The Braves. The Braves are the 26th ranked prospect system in baseball. They have more of like the 101 to 250 range, which is why they're at 26, because they only have one top 100 prospect, Cam Caminiti, left-handed pitcher that they drafted out of high school last year out of high school, who's currently in low A with the Augusta Green Jackets. And so far this year with Augusta, he has started 11 games, a 1-2 record, 2.44 ERA, and 44 1/3 innings pitched. Someone to definitely keep an eye on if you are a Braves fan. But really, they don't have too many guys, and a lot of their top prospects are more of that 101 to 250 range. So they got a decent amount of like depth when it comes to that, but they don't have top echelon talent like some other farm systems do. And the top talent's what gets you higher on this list. The New York Yankees are 25th, their farm system there. They do have a couple interesting arms in the top there, but really their top three, there's 2 bats and 1 arm. George Lombard Jr. obviously is the top guy. He's currently in Double-A with Somerset. So far this year in Somerset, he is hitting 211, 333, 344 for a 677 OPS. He's been a below average offensive bat there in Double-A. So we look to see if he'll develop a little bit more in the upper minor leagues. Carlos LaGrange is the 81st overall prospect. He's also in Double-A. And in Double-A this year, he's 5-5 to a 3.68 ERA. So he's been okay. 12 starts, 13 appearances, 63 2/3 innings pitched. And then Spencer Jones is the 90th rated prospect in baseball. Other than that, though, they have a couple interesting arms. And obviously Spencer Jones in AAA right now. Some Yankee fans saying that he should be up in the majors already. I don't know about that. But the Yankees 25th rated prospect pool farm system. And we go on to 24, which is the San Francisco Giants. Now, the Giants have one top 100 guy. Granted, why are they 24th then? Well, he's the 13th rated prospect in baseball. He's currently in AAA with the Sacramento River Cats. It's Bryce Eldridge, who so far this year is slashing 232, 303, 497 for an 800 OPS, 14 home runs, 49 RBIs in 49 games in AAA. Someone I expect to probably be with the Major League squad there by the start of next year, most likely. They also had left-handed pitcher Carson Whitsenhunt and center fielder Drew Gilbert, who are both in the major leagues now. So the Giants, they're 24th. They have that one top guy, and other than that, they don't really have much after that, which leads them to be 24th. So we'll keep on going there. The Colorado Rockies, they just drafted their top prospect in Holiday, who is now the 17th rated prospect, and then their 60th rated prospect in baseball is Charlie Condon, who's currently in Double-A with the Hartford Yard Goats, who was drafted last year, 3rd overall out of Georgia, and this year they got Ethan Holiday, the guy they really wanted, 4th overall out of high school. The Rockies, other than that though, do not have any top 100 prospects, and they did get some prospects during the trade deadline. Players like Rock Regillo and left-handed pitcher Griffin Herring. But other than that, it's not a farm system to be overly excited about, but there's a couple decent pieces there for the Rockies. Hopefully could see them in a couple years. The Washington Nationals are 22nd overall, who they've really struggled. One thing I've noticed with the Nationals is they've really struggled to develop talent. Because a lot of the talent the young talent that they have, the Robert Hassels, the James Woods, Dylan Cruz was kind of an obvious top 2 pick. But a lot of their top prospects that they've had the last few years are thanks to Juan Soto, and that's about it. Other than that, their drafting and their development have not been particularly great. They have 3 guys in the top 100. Eli Willits, their 1st overall pick this year, who is currently with Fredericksburg, low A. He is not going to be up for probably another 3 to 4 years. He's 17 years old, the youngest 1st overall pick in MLB draft history. They also have Travis Sequoia, who has really struggled with injuries. He does throw really fast. That is one thing with Sequoia, and he is somebody to definitely keep an eye on when he is healthy. But unfortunately, him being healthy has not been has not been what they were. No, my bad. That's Susana. Susana is the one that's been struggling. My bad. Sequoia, I believe he's had injury problems as well, but Susana is the one that throws fast. The Nationals have a couple interesting pieces, but none of those, other than Eli Willis, not a top echelon guy to really talk about. The Philadelphia Phillies, 21st overall. Now, they did trade a couple of their top guys. They traded Taid and they traded McAble in the Yohan Duran trade. So not surprising that they kind of dropped. They were 17th to start the year. Now they're down to 21st. They do have 3 top 100 prospects. Shortstop Aiden Miller, who is the 48th overall prospect. Andrew Painter, which is the 10th overall prospect. And Justin Crawford, who is the 68th overall prospect. And other than that, they got some decent depth pieces, but nothing that is going to elevate them through the rankings. They've got a couple nice top pieces. I expect Andrew Painter maybe this year, if not definitely by next year. I think he is a Philadelphia Philly. The Phillies with the 21st rated prospect. We'll move on. The Chicago White Sox, kind of surprising to see the White Sox this low on the list, considering all the top down. I disagree with this ranking. They were preseason number 2, and now they're all the way down to 20. This feels like a typo because they've got 5 top 100 prospects. I don't understand that. Now, granted, Kyle Teal, Edward Curro, Grant Taylor, Chase Mydroff, Shane Smith, Mike Vassell, all graduated. But with that being said, they have the 33rd ranked prospect in Braden Montgomery, the 38th in Noah Schultz, the 78th in Billy Carlson, who was their first-round draft pick this year. Caleb Bonham is the 87th prospect, and Hagen Smith, their first-round pick last year, is the 91st ranked prospect. You have 5 top 100 prospects. How are you down to number 20? Like, I'm assuming the depth, just the depth behind them, but you've got 5 top 100 prospects. I would have ranked them a little bit higher than 20th. That's just my personal opinion. But the White Sox are 20th on this list. Moving on, we have 19th, the Chicago Cubs. They're an interesting case because they've got a lot of top echelon talent as well, very similar to the White Sox. 4 top 100 prospects, 45th, 52, 62, and 83. So they don't have a top echelon guy with Matt Shaw and Cade Horton graduating. Things along those lines. Their top guy, Owen Casey, is now up in the major leagues. Not getting a crazy amount of playing time, but they have called him up. Moises Ballesteros did get a cup of coffee with the Cubs and then was sent back down. Jefferson Rojas is currently in Double-A with the Knoxville Smokies, and Jackson Wiggins is also in Double-A with the Knoxville Smokies. So they've got a couple of guys, a couple upper echelon Double-A guys, and they got Owen Casey, who's now with the Major League squad, which could be Kyle Tucker's replacement in the offseason, or it could be somebody you build off of going forward. Ballesteros, a catcher, I could see him up in the Major Leagues next year full-time. The Reds, an interesting one here because they've actually done pretty well developing, and they've got a decent amount of top 100 prospects. 6 top 100 prospects for the Cincinnati Reds, and they've dropped from 13 to 18. Now, granted, their top one is Sal Stewart at 31. They got Rhett Lauder at 63, Alfredo Duno at 74, Tyson Lewis at 84, Steele Hall at 88, Cam Collier at 98. So they do have 6 top 100 prospects, which once again, this feels really low for the Cincinnati Reds in their system here. Granted, a couple of them are fringe guys. But with that being said, I feel like we're going to have some guys up higher on the list that I feel like don't really have that top echelon talent. And that's what we're really looking for when it comes to these rankings is I want those top echelon guys. I can care less that you got a bunch of 100 or 150 to 250 ranked guys. We're looking for the top 50 prospects. We're looking for the top 30 prospects. And the Reds do have the 31st overall prospect, and then they have 5 from 63 to 98. So I guess more outside the top 50 guys for the Reds is kind of what puts them down this low, but still feels a little low for the Reds considering they got 6 guys in the top 100. We'll keep going. The Texas Rangers are the 17th rated system according to this list. They've got 1 top 100 prospect on this list. Granted, it's the 4th rated prospect in baseball, Sebastian Walcott, who was signed in 2023. He's 19 years old, and he's currently in Double-A. Don't be surprised when this guy makes his debut at 20, 21. Actually, not 20 because he'll be turning 20 in March of next year. I have a feeling he could be in Triple-A next year when he turns 20, and then potentially making his debut at 21 years old. So he is definitely somebody to keep an eye on. They've kind of rushed him a little bit there. He signed for $3.2 million out of the Bahamas. He's the 4th rated prospect in all of baseball. Sebastian Walcott, definitely somebody to keep your eye on if you're a Rangers fan. And if you're a Rangers fan, you know exactly who Walcott is. I don't need to tell you who he is. He is going to be a stud. He is your shortstop, potentially. He's potentially Seager's replacement if you want to go there, or potentially a third baseman of the future for these Texas Rangers. But he's their only top guy. But it's the number 4 overall one. The Tampa Bay Rays at 16. That's an interesting one there because this is a Rays team that generally has a lot of top prospects. But with that being said, they do have some graduated players on this list, or graduated players with Chandler Simpson and Mason Montgomery, Jake Mangum. But they have 2 top 100 guys, 47th ranked Carson Williams, who they just called up not too long ago, and Theo Gillen, who was their first-round draft pick last year in 2024, and 18th overall out of high school, 19 years old, currently in A-ball with Charleston. So the Rays are a team that generally is able to develop pretty well. They won't do it with a lot of top echelon guys, but this is definitely a farm system that graduations have brought them down a little bit, but definitely a team that won't surprise me to start next year. Could be back in the top 10 for farm systems. The Athletics are 15th, and they had a major boost from 23 to 15th. Why? Well, they traded away Mason Montgomery, and part of that trade got him Leo DeVries, the 3rd overall prospect in all of baseball. One of the top prospects traded in a very long time. He's in Double-A right now at 18 years old. Don't be surprised when he makes his major league debut at 20 years old. And he's a really young 18 right now, too. He won't be turning 19 until October this year. So he is somebody who definitely, I think, could make his debut by then. They also got the 36th ranked prospect in baseball, someone who just fell into their lap, and Jamie Arnold, the left-handed pitcher out of Florida State, who they drafted 11th overall, and one of the highest risers heading into this season. Engaged Jump, a lefty who is currently in Double-A with Midland, who has looked really strong so far this year in Double-A, has pitched to a sub-2 ERA and 71 1/3 innings pitch. So don't be surprised when Gage Jump is in Triple-A next year as well. We'll move on. 14th ranked farm system is the Boston Red Sox. Now, granted, they definitely dropped. They were the 4th rated farm system heading into the year, according to ESPN. Now they're the 14th. Well, why? Roman Anthony, Marcelo Meyer, and Christian Campbell all graduated. Their top guy is the 24th ranked prospect in baseball, Franklin Arias, who is currently in High A with Greenville. Then they have the 28th overall prospect, Peyton Toll, who is currently left-handed pitcher in Worcester. And then they have the guy they called the password, Hostinaxon Garcia, who was just called up to the major leagues. So he has played in, it looks like, 4 games. He's only gotten 4 at-bats so far, though. And then their first-round draft pick of last season out of Oklahoma, Kyson Witherspoon, is the 92nd overall prospect. So this is a Red Sox system that definitely, when you lose the number 1 prospect in all of baseball, when he graduates from Roman Anthony, yes, you are going to drop in the prospect rankings. And we're going to notice that from some guys who are playing this year at the start of the next year's farm system rankings, where you have players that are going to graduate. And when you have players graduate, obviously, your ranking is going to get lower. So that is something to keep an eye on as well. So, yes, the Red Sox did go down, but it was because they lost a couple of their top guys. The 13th ranked farm system in all of baseball is the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, they did improve a lot during the trade deadline as well. When they added Tyler Locklear, Cole Drake, Braden Garcia, Mitch Bratt, Juan Burgos. They all added a decent amount of guys. Now, granted, none of them were top 100 prospects. They have 2 top 100 prospects right now. 23rd ranked Jordan Lawler, who desperately needs to be with Arizona, and they're not giving him much run. They've given him all of 22 games among 23 and 25. Now, granted, he was hurt in 24, if I remember right. No, he spent the entire year in the minor leagues. And granted, he has done really nothing with the Arizona Diamondbacks. And I have a feeling he might drop in list just from fatigue, from prospect fatigue, because he's been up a couple times with the Diamondbacks that have done nothing with him, including being called up in 2025 and going 0 for 19. Their other guy is Ryan Waldschmidt, who's currently in Double-A with the Amarillo Sod Poodles, who is currently hitting 291, 413, 480 for an 893 OPS. So they have two guys in the top 70 and a decent amount of depth guys now with a lot of the guys they got in the trade deadline. And some players that are on their way up, like Slade Caldwell and JD Dix, who could be top 100 prospects soon. The 12th ranked prospect pool in baseball is the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, they have definitely moved up as well from 24 to 12. Now, the Blue Jays, their farm system, obviously, and it's with a couple high climbers. Well, for starters, somebody who started in, I believe, the 80s or 70s or 80s at the beginning of the season, and Trey Savage, their first-round draft pick out of East Carolina last year, is now the 26th ranked prospect in all of baseball, and he's made his ascent all the way to AAA Buffalo. He has struggled a little bit in Buffalo, but he's made his way through Dundon, Vancouver, New Hampshire, and Buffalo so far this year. So they're moving him up pretty quick. Don't be surprised when Savage makes the opening day roster next year, potentially. JoJo Parker, their first round draft pick of this season, which they got him 8th overall out of high school, is the 41st ranked prospect. And Arjun Namala has definitely made some strides this year in now high A Vancouver, who is drafted in the first round in 2023. He really struggled right off the rip, but he's starting to move up in the prospect rankings. He's 51st according to MLB.com. So the Blue Jays with a couple high risers, and then they got some guys outside the top 100 as well that are guys who could make the top 100 next year. The Orioles at 11th feels weird seeing them this low. Now, obviously, heading into the season, I did mention that they had one of their worst farm systems that they have had in a while, and they're a Samuel Basallo graduation away from not having any top 100 prospects. Granted, Samuel Basallo is the 8th rated prospect in all of baseball. He just signed a pre-arb extension as well with the Orioles. I believe it's 8 years, $68 million, if I remember right, with escalators that can get it up into the 80s range, which is a record pre-arb deal for a catcher. Now, he's a bat first catcher, so you could see him DHing and playing first base a little bit as well, because overall the defense is a 45 grade, but his power is a 60 and his hit is a 55. Has a good arm, though, 70 grade arm. So he is the only top 100 prospect, though, that the Baltimore Orioles have at the moment. Definitely feels like one of their weakest ones, but they do have some guys that I think will be top 100 prospects to start next year. And they're mainly draft picks like Ike Irish or Weli Aloy or Slater DeBrun or Caden Brodon could make their way in the top 100 by the end of the year. We made it to the top 10 here for prospect systems, and we have the Miami Marlins on the way up here. Their farm system has definitely improved massively since the new GM and Peter Bendix, and their rebuild last year really helped that. Thomas White, the 21st ranked prospect in their system, left-handed pitcher who's currently in Double-A with the Pensacola Blue Wahoos, has been one of the best left-handed pitchers in minor league baseball. Aviar Arquette, who's already in high A, he was their 7th overall pick in the draft in this year's draft out of Oregon State. They also have the 75th ranked prospect in baseball, in Joe Mack, who is with the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. He's looked pretty decent so far this season, including hitting 239, 310, 399 for a 709 OPS. Now, granted, he also has a decent bat or a decent glove as well, and he is a decent catcher, 60 arm, 55 field. And then Robbie Snelling, part of the trade last year that sent Tanner Scott to the Padres. is now a top 100 prospect as well, 79th overall. He is currently with Jacksonville. So big step up, big step in the right direction for Fish Fam there. As the Marlins farm system is a lot of fun, and that doesn't include also a couple graduations with Jacob Marcy and with Augustine Ramirez as well. We'll move to the 9th overall farm system, which is the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals kind of struggling a little bit this year, but their farm system definitely is not. They have the 6th rated prospect in all of baseball. Their first round draft pick from last year, 7th overall, J.J. Weatherholt. Somebody who I thought potentially could have been a number 1 overall pick out of West Virginia in last year's draft. He fell to 7 right into St. Louis's lap, and he has done nothing but crush the baseball so far between Double and Triple A this year. And don't be surprised when he makes the major league roster the start of next year. He's slashing 328, 413, 648 for a 1061 OPS so far in 31 games with Memphis. Just looking absolutely amazing. And then they also have the 34th overall prospect in all of baseball, and Liam Doyle, their first round draft pick out of Tennessee this year, who they picked 5th overall. Just an absolutely really strong fastball there. And he is somebody who I think at the very least could be a decent bullpen arm for the St. Louis Cardinals. I think he ends up more in the bullpen though than a starter, but that's just me. And then they have 2 top catching prospects as well, and Leonardo Bernal, who has made his rise a little bit so far this season. He is currently in Double A with Springfield. And then they got Ronel Rodriguez, who's currently in Low A with Palm Beach, who was someone they signed in April of 2024 for $300,000 out of the Dominican Republic, who has really climbed in the prospect rankings, especially for what he did in rookie ball, where in 20 games, 59 at-bats, very limited sample size, but he hit 373, 513, 831 for a 1344 OPS. So he definitely had a really good time in rookie ball, and he's now in Low A. We'll move to the 8th ranked prospect in all 8th ranked system, which is the Detroit Tigers. They've fallen a little bit there in the rankings, but they still got a lot of intrigue when it comes to their top echelon guys with these Detroit Tigers. They got 4 guys in the top 100, and my bad, they've got 4 guys in the top 35. They have the number 2 overall prospect in baseball, Kevin McGonigal, who is currently with Erie, the Double A Tigers, who this year in Erie is hitting 268, 391, 513 for 954 OPS after he dotted in West Michigan there. They got Max Clark, who is also a top 10 prospect in all of baseball. So the Tigers have 2 top 10 prospects in baseball, both in Erie right now. The Seawolves have a pretty solid team there. He's hitting 265, 373, 487 for an 860 OPS there in Erie. And then they got Josue Briseño, who is also in Erie, who is the 32nd overall prospect in baseball, who is he's a below average hitter right now in Erie, but he was smashing the ball there in West Michigan. And then they got Bryce Rayner, who is currently in Lakeland in Low A, who is their first round draft pick in 2024. But he did get injured this year, and I believe he's out for the remainder of the year. But he is somebody who has a lot of promise as well. So 4 top 35 prospects for the Detroit Tigers. Surprised that they're not higher. Let's keep going. The top 7 now. Cleveland Guardians are the 7th ranked farm system in baseball. Travis Bazzana headlines that farm system, 15th rated prospect in baseball, the number 1 pick in last year's draft, and he's made it all the way to AAA with the Columbus Clippers for the Cleveland Guardians. He started the year in rookie ball, but only played 7 games there. Then he went to Akron, the Rubber Ducks, and then to Columbus. So he is I think the rookie ball was just rehab for him. He is now up in AAA. He's played 11 games in AAA. Somebody who I think could make the opening day roster at the start of next year, as we start to see these college guys who are drafted pretty high make the move quicker to the MLB than we have ever seen before. Chase DeLauder is somebody who's an absolutely electric bat when healthy. The problem is the when healthy part, because I believe he is injured once again. At the moment, he's only played 42 games so far this season. He has been multiple times on the IL. Somebody who the Guardians would love to stay healthy. They're the 56th ranked prospect in all of baseball. 57 is Angel Geno, who is currently in Double-A with the Rubber Ducks right now. And so far this year, he has played 61 games in Akron, a 254, 313, 357 slash line for 670 OPS. So kind of struggling a little bit there offensively. I believe he's more of a defensive first guy, though. 55 arm, 55 field. So he's above average defender there at shortstop. With hopefully he'll be able to give the Guardians league average offenses, I think what they're hoping for there. And then CJ Kayfus, who has been called up to the Major League squad, who's actually, I believe, looked pretty good with the Guardians so far this year. 220, 281, 424 for 705 OPS, 2 home runs, 8 RBIs in 19 games with the Guardians. We'll move on. Top 6 farm system. The Brewers are 6th now. I thought the Brewers going to be higher, to be completely honest, until you realize that that Jacob Misiorowski is graduated from prospect status. So their top guy, though, is Jesus Mane, who's now with High A Wisconsin, who absolutely tore it up, or not absolutely tore it up, but looked pretty good with Carolina, who is currently tearing it up, a very limited sample size in 16 games with Wisconsin, 328, 411, 547 for 958 OPS. Luis Pena, another guy who is an international free agent signing for the Milwaukee Brewers, who is doing really well, and they also called him up to High A as well with Wisconsin after he was pretty good with Carolina. Cooper Pratt is somebody in Double-A right now with Biloxi, who is a 6th-round draft pick in 2023, who has made the climb all the way to the 53rd prospect in all of baseball. Jefferson Cuero, a catching prospect who is currently with Triple-A with Nashville, who was signed back in 2019. He's 22 years old, who I wouldn't be surprised to see make his debut soon with the Milwaukee Brewers, potentially next year. And then Logan Henderson, who has had time in Milwaukee this year. He's been dominant when he's had been given time. He started 5 games. He's pitched 25 and a third innings pitched, a 3-0 record to a 1.78 ERA. So he has been amazing with the Milwaukee Brewers when given time, which he's been up and down this year. He spent a decent amount of time in Nashville. It says he is with the Brewers now, but I would like to see him get more time there in Milwaukee. Top 5, we've made it, and the Minnesota Twins are number 5. Not shocked that they are a team that moved up, especially when you get rid of basically a quarter of your roster. I expect your farm system to be pretty freaking good. And that is exactly what it is. Walker Jenkins is now the 14th ranked prospect in all of baseball. He's currently in AAA. He's somebody who they hope can stay healthy. Eduardo Taid, the 54th ranked prospect in baseball. They acquired him in that trade with the Philadelphia Phillies. He's currently in High A Cedar Rapids, but they acquired him in the Duran trade. So definitely someone that they're very high on, a top 100 prospect. Luke Keyshaw, who is now finally back and healthy with the Minnesota Twins. And in a limited sample size, 25 games, 89 at-bats, has looked pretty good with Minnesota. 337, 427, 494 for a 921 OPS, 2 home runs, and 51 RBIs. Then they also have the 71st ranked prospect, Emmanuel Rodriguez, currently in AAA with St. Paul, somebody who I could see potentially making his debut next year. Or potentially at the end of this year, if they want to give him a shot, because now we are past that time where if they play this year, they still can maintain rookie eligibility for next season. And then Kalen Culpepper, who was their first-round draft pick last year out of Kansas State, 21st overall, is currently in Double-A Wichita. He's the 76th rated prospect in baseball. Top 4. for prospects. And yeah, the Pittsburgh Pirates are up here in the 4th rated farm system in all of baseball. This is not surprising to me because when you look at this Pirates farm system, it's pretty good. And it is now granted, it is a very top-heavy one. But with that being said, when you have 3 guys in the top 27, including the number 1 and number 7 ranked prospect in all of baseball, yeah, you're going to be up pretty high. Number 1 prospect in baseball, currently in Double-A now at 19 years old, the first-round draft pick out of high school last year. Once again, another guy. He'll be 20 in April. Don't be surprised when this guy debuts at 21 years old. And Connor Griffin, he is unbelievable. 55 hits, 60 power, 70 runs, 70 arm, 60 field, 65 overall. He was the first-round pick last year, and he has been absolutely tearing it up between low A and high A. He's been adjusting a little bit to Double-A. He only played 6 games, though, where he's slashing 286, 346, 286 for a 632 OPS. But between all 3 levels of minor leagues so far this year in low A, high A, and Double-A, where he's played 107 games, he has stolen 63 bases. Yes, you heard me correctly. So he is somebody who is absolutely tearing it up. And there's a reason why he is number 1 on a lot of people's rankings, or number 2, interchangeable with Kevin McGonigal. They also have the top pitching. They have one of the top pitching prospects in all of baseball, Bubba Chandler, who finally made his debut with the Pittsburgh Pirates out of the bullpen, though, the other day. He threw 4 innings, gave up 2 hits, struck out 3. And that was it. He looked good in his first appearance with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Somebody that I would like to see in the starting rotation going forward, though, because I really don't want to see them using him out of the bullpen, but it is what it is. They've got a really good farm system, including the 27th ranked prospect in all of baseball, Seth Hernandez, the 6th overall pick in the 2025 draft out of the Corona High School in California, with one of the best fastballs in the draft. And I said he was by far the best prep arm in the draft. The right-handed profile is a little shaky, but I always thought, and for me, I thought that potentially Seth Hernandez could have gone number 1 to the Nationals if they wanted to go prep rather than college, which they did go prep, but they went prep bat. And then they have the 86th ranked prospect, Hunter Barco, who is currently a left-handed pitcher in Indianapolis. I believe he's gotten some time with Pittsburgh this year, if I remember right. No, I'm thinking of somebody else. He has appeared in 17 games for Indianapolis this year. He's been okay. We'll move on, though, into the top 3 for farm systems. The Seattle Mariners. The Mariners started 7th this year, and now they are 3rd. And no surprise why they are 3rd. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in the top 100. Starting at 95, where they have Felmy and Celestin, shortstop, who is currently in high A, 19 years old. Somebody who they signed back in 2023 out of, I want to say, the Dominican Republic, if I remember right. He is somebody who's just been moving up the rankings, though. Gerangelo Sinje, the left-handed, right-handed pitcher. He is somebody where he should just scrap the left-handed pitching, though, and just pitch righty. Out of the Netherlands, he was the first overall pick for them, 15th overall last year. Somebody who was really strong with Mississippi State, and I feel should just be a right-handed pitcher. I think once he becomes only a right-handed pitcher, he will skyrocket up the rankings. But until then, I think his left-handed pitching, even though it's really fun that he can do both, it's holding him back. It really is. Johnny Farmelo is the 82nd overall prospect in baseball. He's currently in high A for the Mariners as well. Michael Arroyo, 61st overall prospect in Double-A with Arkansas. He was signed back in 2022. He's 20 years old now in Double-A. Ryan Sloan, who I believe was their first-round draft pick last year, second-round draft pick, 55th overall in last year's draft. who is making a move up the rankings at 42nd overall. He's 19 years old. He was drafted out of high school. And he is now 42nd overall. Harry Ford, somebody who's been in the system for a while now. I'm curious to see how they're going to approach Harry Ford because he is a catcher and he's kind of blocked right now by this guy named Cal Raleigh, who's pretty good. But with that being said, he is a top 40 prospect as well. And then they have 3 guys in the top 30. Lizardo Montes, outfielder in AA right now, who was signed back in 2022. They have the 3rd overall pick, which I feel like they were so lucky to have this guy drop 3rd overall to him. Cade Anderson, who was drafted 3rd overall out of LSU, left-hander, went to the Mariners. Absolutely love his profile. I think he is somebody who can soar through the minor leagues and even pitch as early as late next year for them. Somebody to definitely keep an eye on for his climb through the minor leagues. And then they have the 11th overall prospect in baseball, Colt Emerson, who is currently in AA as well at 20 years old, who was also a high school guy who was drafted early in the draft as well. They don't have a top 10 prospect, which is, I think, why they are number 3 on this list. But number 2 are the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, the Dodgers have always had a good farm system. It feels like they are really good at, obviously, the Dodgers are one of the best teams at developing talent and finding talent and trading for talent and everything there. And they have had some guys graduate between Rushing and Robleski and Kasparius and Dreyer and Freeland. Is going to graduate at the end of this year, most likely. But they have 5 guys in the top 100 right now. 66 overall, Mike Soroka. He was part of the Gavin Lux trade for the Dodgers, where they traded him, where they traded Gavin Lux, and they received him and a supplemental first-round pick, which I believe got them somebody from Arkansas. I don't remember who, in the 41st or 42nd overall pick. They have Eduardo Quintero, who's currently in high A. He's the 55th ranked prospect. They have a lot of younger talent. Alex Freeland has made his debut with the Dodgers. He's the 43rd prospect in all of baseball. And with the Dodgers so far, very limited sample size because he was just called up rather recently. So not too much to go off of for him. 23 games, 66 at-bats, 212, 325, 364 for an 689 OPS. Limited sample size with the Dodgers. 19th overall, Zaire Hope in high A with Great Lakes, somebody who that the Dodgers are very, very high on. He was drafted 11th in the 11th round, 326th overall. Here's the thing though, is he was signed for $400,000, which is around 5th round money. Drafted in the 11th round, trying to sign him out of high school. He was committed to the University of North Carolina when drafted. So they were very high on him. They wanted to get him out of his college signing. And obviously, if they would have given him 11th round money, he'd probably be pitching for the Tar Heels right now. But he is also 20 years old, Zaire Hope, in high A. And then their top prospect in their system is also in high A, 20-year-old Josue DePaula, who he signed back in 2022 in January. He only signed for $397,500 in 2022, and since then he has developed into one of the best prospects in all of baseball. So the Dodgers are one of the best farm systems in baseball, the second best farm system in baseball according to ESPN, with the number one farm system in baseball being the New York Mets. Welcome to the David Stearns era in New York. If there's one thing we learned he's very good at doing is drafting, signing, and developing talent in the minor leagues. We saw this when David Stearns was the GM of the Brewers. That team always had some of the top farm systems, and they do here. They have 4 guys in the top 44 according to MLB.com. 20th ranked Carson Bench, who's the first round draft pick last year for the New York Mets, 20 or 19th overall. I want to say it was 19th overall out of Oklahoma State. He has made his ascend all the way to AAA. Now, he is hurt at the moment at time of recording, so he's not going to debut with the Mets at all this year, but don't be surprised when he is the starting center fielder next year for the New York Mets, as he, in 3 levels of minor league baseball this year, have slashed 306, 413, 504 for a 917 OPS, hitting 12 home runs and 60 RBIs. The 30th ranked prospect in all of baseball, Jet Williams, another guy in AAA. He was called up to AAA the same time Carson Bench was. He is a second baseman, outfielder, shortstop, so somebody who can play all around the diamond, who is hitting 272, 376, 495 for an 835 OPS between double and AAA this year with Binghamton and Syracuse. He was the 14th overall pick back in 2021. We could see him up late this year, or I think he's somebody he will definitely break camp for the Mets next year. Nolan McLean has already made his major league debut. He's looked awesome. He is the 37th ranked prospect in baseball, which I expect him to potentially graduate very soon out of prospect eligibility. He, so far in 2 starts, he became he became the first Mets pitcher in months not named David Peterson to go 6 innings. And then I think Clay Holmes did the same thing next start. 2-0, 12 1/3 innings pitch, a 1.46 ERA, 15 strikeouts in those 12 innings. And then the 44th ranked prospect, and one that Mets fans are very, very high on, Jonah Tong, who just got the call up to the major leagues. I was so excited to hear this. He spent no time in AAA, basically. I believe he made 3 starts for the Syracuse Mets. If I remember right, 2 starts for the Syracuse Mets. Went 11 2/3, gave up no earned runs, 17 strikeouts, 8 hits. He is now he was just called up within the last hour and a half, I want to say, since before this recording. He has been the best pitching. A bit between him and Nolan McLean, I think, have been the 2 of the best pitching prospects in all of the Mets system. Obviously, there's still Brendan Sproul. And you're wondering, they've only got 4 guys in the top 44. How is this the number 1 ranked farm system baseball? You look just outside the top 100. You got guys like Brendan Sproul. You got guys like A.J. Ewing. You got guys like Jacob Reimer and Jonathan Santucci and Jake Wettinger, who are going to look to crack into the top 100 when graduations happen later this and probably in the next update. So the Mets farm system has gone from 9 to 1. They have the best farm system in all of baseball. But let me know which farm systems you think next time they update will move up the most, will move down the most. I do think the Mets farm system will drop. Obviously, the next time we do a system rankings, I don't think they'll be the number 1 once McLean graduates, once Tong graduates, and things along those lines. But let me know in the comment section below which prospects you're looking at the most, which systems you're looking at the most to climb, which ones you're looking at to drop. And if this information was helpful to you guys at all, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already, and turn on those post notifications so you guys are notified each and every time we come out the video here at Baseball Talk with Your Brothers. But that's going to do it for this one. I want to thank you guys as always for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.